Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. It's been a really long time. I showed up at the beginning of the year with a goals video and I had the best of intentions, and then suddenly it's April and I've done nothing. So hi, welcome to this video and let's talk about why I disappeared. And in case the title didn't give it away, it was the most severe of burnouts. And we're just going to talk about why it happened and coming out of burnout and giving yourself the space that you need after burnout. And hopefully I'm going to be showing you guys a little project that I worked on to help me get out of my little rut. And it should be cute and cozy and you can watch me make things out of clay and listen to me ramble about some of the poor life choices I made recently / in the last 6 months that got me here. So grab yourself a little drink if you want to, get a little snacky snack, and let's do this. So first of all, hello, welcome. My name is Mahsa and I'm the maker, creator, owner, everything behind Moonchild by Mahsa, which is a small polymer clay business up here in the northeast of England. I'm mostly known for my little moonlings, which if you don't know what they are, I will pop photos all around. They're super adorable little creatures sent by the moon to keep an eye on you when you're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous, and just sit on your desk and make sure you're okay and you've got a little friend. So in this video, I'm going to be working on a little project, and I already tried to film this video once and it didn't come out very good, and that's why I'm filming the talking bits in April, but the footage is actually from mid / the beginning of March. And that is important because the thing I am working on is a little Persian project, and it's a little Sofra Hafsin, which we traditionally put out for the Persian New Year, which happens at the spring equinox, and that generally falls around the 20th of March. So all the clay stuff in this video was filmed then, and here I am just commentating basically. So the Sofra Hafsin literally translates to the table of 7 S's, and each little item that I am going to be sculpting and each little item that traditionally goes on the Sofra Hafsin has a different meaning, and it's meant to bring a different thing to the new year and be a different thing that you're taking forward with you into the new year. I hope that makes sense. This year it is the year of the serpent or the snake, and it is going to be a little snake project. It took me a really long time to figure out what I wanted to do with it. I tried to make a little doodle of like what I wanted it to look like. I'm only going to share this with you because I feel like it's in the spirit of what I am going for, which is you don't have to be good at something to enjoy doing it. You don't have to be good at every aspect of everything that you do to just keep going. This will come into play a little bit later on because I think as a perfectionist, this holds me back so much in my business and in my everyday life. I need to have the mentality of done is better than perfect, when in reality I am the kind of person where if I can't make it perfect the first time, then I will not even attempt to do it. So that's less than ideal, in case that wasn't obvious. I had 2 ideas for this little project to begin with. One was having a snake and having it just be a wiggly snake and having each of the items sculpted along its back, which didn't seem like a great idea, to be honest. And then the other one was to have the snake's body coiled around a little tray and have the stuff on the tray, and then the snake would be separate. When I say I am not good at doodling, I am not good at drawing, I am not good at any of that. I can sculpt, but I can't do the drawing. I can see it in my head, I just can't translate it to paper. And look at this. What is this guy right here? Like, what am I looking at? What's happening? Can we just take a second? But again, I am sharing it as a form of exposure therapy because that is by no means perfect or cute or anything, but I'm sharing it because that's how we're going to be rolling. So the first thing I did was try and figure out the amount of clay that I needed and try and figure out what clay I had because I didn't want to buy any clay. And that's when I realized I have an insane amount of clay just lying around. This might be why I'm barely making a profit / almost not making a profit. And yeah, so this was a good exercise in me realizing I have a clay buying problem. So I will not be buying any more clay for the foreseeable future. I've got a really fun video planned where I try and make stuff for a product drop without purchasing anything. So that'll be fun. Stay tuned for that. I took out all my clay. I tried to sort through everything and I managed to pick a couple of things. So enjoy watching me make this little Persian snake for half scene project. And let's talk about why I disappeared off the face of the earth. Last year was a really tough time for my business and for me personally. I was just not having a very good time at all. So I tend to book in a lot of markets and things around the Christmas time and the festive period, and I tend to do a bunch of Halloween markets, and historically they've been pretty good. Like the Halloween markets do really well. There's a few of the Christmas markets that are usually incredible, and I ended up booking pretty much the same markets this year and continued to do what I did the previous year. So I booked the same markets as I had previously, and that usually turns into a whole bunch of markets. I have a really bad habit. For some reason, if I know I have a market, I can't really make things for it up until like the week before, and it's because I need that, not motivation, but almost like the pressure of the deadline to actually get things done. I personally think that this is to do with undiagnosed ADHD, and I am in the process of trying to get some sort of diagnosis for it because it's very clear to me and to everyone around me that I have it, but trying to get it actually diagnosed and medicated to an extent is pretty difficult up here in the UK, so it's gonna be a long process. So I need the deadline to get me going, and that tends to not work out really well, and usually I get it done. I will basically not sleep for an entire week, but it will get done. I'll make everything that I needed to make, and it does get done. However, what really was a problem for me last festive season, like Christmas time and Halloween, is that I ended up getting a part-time job, and that's because my business had just not been doing very well. And I also do acting work on the side, and I'd previously taken a break from that, and getting back into it was really slow. So I had very little in the way of sales, like 0 online sales, and markets were just not doing hugely well, and I was having very little acting work coming through, so my income was drastically lower than what it should have been. So I ended up getting a part-time job, so I was trying to juggle the part-time job as well as doing all of the markets that I'd already committed to, and more importantly, paid for. I had spent a fortune paying for all these markets, so I still had to do them. I couldn't just drop out of them and not do them. The part-time job wasn't a lot of hours. It was only 20 hours a week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but the 20 hours were spread over Monday to Friday, and they were bang in the middle of the day. So when you factored in actually having to get ready for work and then traveling to work and then traveling back from work, it took out a good chunk of my day every day. And because it was bang in the middle of the day, it was just super awkward. Now, also, something else that was going on at the exact same time is that I was put on some medication that kicked my butt. In case anyone's familiar with it, I was put on Roaccutane, or I think it's called Accutane in the US, or isotretinoin is what the actual drug is, which is some hardcore acne medication. And some people are okay with it when they're on that and they can just get on with their lives. I ended up having every single side effect listed on the sheet, and I was just having the worst time. I could barely eat. I had so much muscle pain. I was taking painkillers like multiple times a day. I was just having the worst time. And sculpting isn't that calming. It's quite heavy on your body. You've got to sculpt and your arms are constantly moving and you're constantly doing things. And my body was just not at the level where it could cope with the amount of things that I needed to do for my business to fulfill the commitments that I had for the markets. Now, I say that I didn't have it in me to complete any of that, but being the stubborn person that I am, I managed to run on absolutely zero, like running on fumes, but I managed to get it done. I continued to work all the way through Christmas, and working retail during the holidays is just the worst. And it was super busy, so I was just exhausted every single day. I think I cried multiple times a day because I was just so exhausted. I was in so much pain. I just honestly felt like I was dying. It was a horrible time for me. So that is why I ended up being so burnt out. So when my last market was taking place, I think it would have been the end of November, beginning of December. So I haven't sculpted a single thing since then. I haven't sculpted anything. I haven't worked on my business. I haven't done a single thing with regards to Moonchild by Mahsa since late November, early December, which is not how you run a business. That is not a good way to run a business or make money at all whatsoever. Yeah, that's how I ended up being so immensely burnt out. I really think I needed the time away from the business just to clear my head a little bit. The thing that really made everything worse was that I was working so hard on this business and the markets were so much quieter than usual. I was getting zero sales. I'm very sorry if you can hear my neighbors cutting their grass right now. But yeah, like I was saying, I was getting zero sales online. The markets turned out to be so much more quiet than they had ever been before for me. And I do think that was in part due to the cost of living crisis that we were having in the UK / are still having in the UK, I believe. But it just was not a good time for me. And when you put your heart and soul and so much effort into everything that you're doing, when you're already on empty and you're just giving it your all, and having it not sell is just so demotivating. I was just heartbroken because I was giving my all to this thing and it was making me no money, and it just wasn't worth it at the time. So I really think I needed to take some time away from the business to figure out what I really wanted to do and just to give myself time to recover. Thankfully, I am no longer on the medication, which is just the biggest blessing ever. Yes, it did help with my skin. However, I would probably not put myself through it ever again. It was just a horrible time. But I'm no longer on the medication. I'm working less hours at my part-time job, which is great. So I get 2 days off per week where I can actually work on my business when I choose to begin working on my business again. And yeah, this project, the little snake guy and this whole thing is just my way of giving myself permission to ease myself back in, get back into sculpting and doodling terrible images and just finding the joy in what I did again and having a silly time, like watching cute things while I make cute things, and just really giving myself the permission to find my creativity, find what I want to do with my life, and sculpt cute things that I love and that hopefully other people will love along the way. So if you are someone who is experiencing burnout, I think my biggest advice would be to just give yourself time. Give your body the break that it quite clearly requires, because that's what burnout is. It's when you've pushed yourself too hard and now your body and your brain are like, hold up, we just need time to actually chill out because this is not it. So give your body the time that it needs, give yourself the time that you need, and do things that are going to fill your cup. Don't necessarily do things that are for your business or for any sort of productive reason. Just watch silly things because you want to, or make silly art, or it's not even silly, just make art, do your hobbies, do things that are going to fill your cup back up to a place where you can then be creative again and do the things that you want to do. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was something a little bit different for me, and I hoped you enjoyed watching me make my little snake guy and my little sofa hat scene. I kind of love him. Like, he's so like dopey, but I think he's freaking adorable. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I promise I'm not just gonna drop another video and disappear for the next 4 or 5 months. I've got a lot of fun things planned. I have a whole series planned where I'm trying to grow my business using a personal development book and I can't say much about it right now, but we're going to be using a book and a brand new system to grow our business and see how that's going to go, which I'm super excited about. And I'm also working on my first launch of the year, my first product drop, and it's going to be super fun, and I will take you along for the whole thing. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, then drop me a little snake emoji, and thank you for watching again. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that I've got coming up, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye!